I moved back to my quiet hometown after a public meltdown and found a journal in my grandma's attic that revealed a family cover up, cartel secrets, and a sister I never knew existed. Now someone's threatening my life if I don't stop digging. I thought I was just broken and jobless, but I walked into a decades-old conspiracy, and I'm not backing down. When 28-year-old Alex Carter moved back to their sleepy hometown of Cedar Brook to escape a failed career and a broken engagement, they expected months of boredom and self-pity. Instead, a dusty journal found in their late grandmother's attic unearthed a family mystery, one that led to an unexpected friendship with a nomadic stranger, a reckoning with the past, and a chance to rebuild a future they'd never dared to imagine. This is the story of how life's dead ends sometimes open into roads you never saw coming. Cedar Brook hadn't changed. The same crooked sign welcoming visitors to the maple capital of the Midwest still leaned near the highway. The same diner, gas station, and library clustered around the town's lone stoplight. Alex parked their dented Honda outside the peeling blue Victorian house they'd inherited, a house that smelled like mothballs and regret. Their mom had insisted the move would be healing. "You'll finally sort through Gran's things," she'd said. But Alex knew the truth. Their family saw them as a cautionary tale. MBA graduate turned unemployed recluse after a public meltdown at their fiancé's office holiday party. Cedar Brook was where you licked your wounds, where you vanished. The first night, Alex found a bottle of cheap wine and a box of granola bars in their suitcase. They ate dinner on the floor, staring at the water-stained ceiling, and tried not to cry. By day 3, Alex decided to tackle the attic, if only to prove they weren't completely useless. The space was a time capsule, trunks of yellowed linens, a cracked porcelain doll collection, and a stack of National Geographic magazines from the 1970s. Then, wedged behind an old rocking horse, they found it. A moss-green leather notebook, its pages brittle and coffee-stained. The first entry was dated October 12, 1998. "I can't tell anyone, not yet, but I saw him today. His eyes are hers, exactly hers. If I'm right, everything we thought we knew about this family is a lie." Alex flipped ahead. The entries were sporadic, chaotic. Mentions of a child, a cover-up, and a name, Lena. The last page, dated March 2003, had a single sentence: "They're coming for me. I have to hide it." The knock came at noon. Alex opened the door to a woman in her 60s holding a casserole dish. "Welcome back, hun," she said. "I'm Marjorie, lived next door since you were in diapers." Over tuna noodle bake, Marjorie reminisced about Alex's grandmother, her bridge games, her rose garden, her sharp tongue. Alex casually brought up the journal. Marjorie's smile faltered. "Your gran, she had a rough patch after your grandpa died. Started saying odd things, claimed she'd made a terrible mistake years before. We all figured it was grief." She hesitated. "Why? What did you find?" Alex shrugged. "Nothing important." But later, tucked in the journal's back flap, they discovered a faded Polaroid, a toddler with wild curls standing in a sunflower field, scribbled on the border, "Lena, 18 months. Forgive me." Cedar Brook's library was a relic of the 1950s, cracked leather chairs, fluorescent lights that hum like tired bees, and a librarian, Mrs. Peabody, who eyed Alex like they'd tracked mud on her polished linoleum. "Family history," she repeated, adjusting her cat-eye glasses. "Why?" Alex lied smoothly. "Genealogy project. For my mom." The microfilm machine groaned as Alex scrolled through brittle Cedar Brook Gazette archives. Hours blurred until a headline snagged their attention. "Local couple's infant daughter dies in house fire, 1976. The parents' names: Eleanor and Robert Carter, Alex's grandparents. But Gran never mentioned a sister." Alex's hands shook. The article was brief, vague, no photos, no follow-up stories. As Alex left, Mrs. Peabody slid a manila envelope across the desk. "Your gran donated these after." Inside were charcoal sketches of sunflowers, a child's handprint in paint, and a recipe for lavender shortbread. At the bottom, a note: "For Lena, who loves the garden." Marjorie mentioned a name over lemonade. Ask Ruth. She'd know. Ruth Carter, Gran's younger sister, the town's eccentric spinster, who lived in a cabin deep in the maple woods. The hike left Alex sweaty and mosquito-bitten. Ruth answered the door in coveralls, her face a roadmap of wrinkles. "Took you long enough," she said. The cabin smelled of pine resin and betrayal. Ruth refused the journal but stared at Lena's Polaroid. "Eleanor hid that girl like a stain," she muttered. "After the fire, they said the baby died. But a year later, I saw her, alive, at a bus station in St. Louis, with a man who wasn't Robert." Alex's pulse thrummed. "Why didn't you say anything?" Ruth laughed bitterly. "Who'd believe me? Your grandpa had power, the mayor." She pressed a rusted key into Alex's palm. "Your grand's old safety deposit box. First National Bank closed in '09. Good luck." The bank was now a craft brewery. Desperate, Alex posted on a local Facebook group, seeking info on First National safety deposit boxes pre-2009. A reply came at midnight. "Meet me at mile marker 22, sunset." Against all sense, Alex went. At the dusty roadside, a hitchhiker leaned against a backpack, early 30s, sun-bleached hair, a tattoo of sunflowers winding up one arm. "Jesse," they said. "I know where the bank records are." Turns out Jesse had been squatting in the bank's abandoned vault. "Urban explorer," they grinned. Inside, under graffiti and bird nests, they unearthed Gran's box. Inside, a birth certificate, Lena Marie Carter, born November 5th, 1975. But Lena's death certificate was missing. Jesse studied the sunflower tattoo on their wrist. Weird. "My mom had a photo like that Polaroid. Said it was her sister, a woman who left her at a foster home. Never knew her name." Alex's breath caught. "What was your mom's name?" "Lena." The Cedar Brook Children's Home had been demolished years ago, replaced by a sterile parking lot. Alex and Jesse stood in the rain, staring at the cracked asphalt. "Dead end," Alex muttered, but Jesse pulled out a phone number scrawled on a napkin. "Not quite. My mom mentioned a woman who worked here. Agnes. She's in a nursing home now." Agnes, 92 and sharp as a tack, sipped tea in her floral armchair. "Lena Carter? Oh, I remember. Quiet thing. Terrified of fire." Her gaze drifted to Jessie. "You have her smile." She revealed Lena had been dropped off in 1977 by a well-dressed man who paid cash to keep her off the books. "He threatened us, said she'd died and we'd better pretend she had." Outside, Alex's hands trembled. "Your grandfather," Jessie said flatly. Marjorie cornered Alex at the grocery store. "You're stirring up ghosts," she hissed, her usual warmth gone. "Your gran wanted that past buried, for your sake." When Alex pressed, Marjorie's resolve cracked. "Robert made enemies. If people find out he lied about Lena, they'll come for what's left of your family, including you." That night, Alex found the Victorian's back window smashed, scrawled in red paint on the wall, "Stop digging." Jesse arrived, backpack slung over their shoulder. "Crash here tonight. I'll take the couch." Jesse unzipped a hidden compartment in their pack. Inside, a bundle of letters tied with twine. My mom's. Never could bring myself to read them all. The letters spanned decades, Lena's voice shifting from confusion to rage to resignation. They told me I was dead, that I had no family. But I remember the sunflowers, a woman singing. Her hands smelled like soil. The final letter, dated weeks before her overdose, chilled Alex. "He found me. Says I owe him. If anything happens, tell Ruth." The sentence ended mid-word. Jesse's jaw tightened. The he who found her, my grandfather? Ruth arrived unannounced, clutching a shotgun and a whiskey bottle. Marjorie called. "Said you're in danger." She confirmed Robert's ruthlessness. He'd orchestrated Lena's disappearance to hide an affair. "Eleanor played along to protect your dad's inheritance, but she regretted it." "That journal?" Her confession, Alex's phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. A raspy voice growled, "You have until sunrise to hand over the journal, Or the drifter dies first. Jesse smirked, adrenaline lighting their eyes. Guess we're not sleeping tonight. The voicemail replayed in Alex's head as they tore through the Victorian, shouting Jesse's name. The couch was empty, Jesse's backpack gone. Ruth paced, shotgun in hand. They're bluffing, gotta be. But Alex's gut said otherwise. A text lit up their phone at dawn. Mill Creek Bridge, come alone, bring the journal. Attached was a photo of Jesse, gagged and bleeding from a split lip. Hell no, Ruth barked. It's a trap. But Alex was already grabbing the journal and Gran's old hunting knife. They want a Carter? They'll get one. The abandoned mill loomed over the river, its wheel rotten and still. Alex's sneakers slipped on mossy stones as they approached. A figure stepped from the shadows, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a ski mask. Where's Jesse? Alex demanded. The man tossed a phone. On screen, a live feed of Jesse tied to a chair in a concrete room. Hand it over or we drop them in the river. Alex threw the journal. The man flipped through it, then laughed. Cute, the real one, now. Panic spiked. Real one? Before Alex could react, tires screeched. Ruth's pickup roared into view, Marjorie clinging to the passenger side. Get in, Ruth yelled. The masked man bolted. Back at the Victorian, Marjorie collapsed into a kitchen chair. I tried to warn you, they've been watching the house. Who's they? Alex snapped. Marjorie hesitated. Your grandpa's associates, men he owed. When Robert faked Lena's death, it wasn't just to hide an affair. He stole money. Their money, Ruth slammed a bottle of bourbon onto the table. And when he died, they came after Eleanor. She hid the ledger, proof of what he stole, in another journal. That's what they want. Alex's mind reeled. Where is it? Marjorie looked away. Your gran gave it to me, for safekeeping. The ledger was a slim black notebook, filled with dates, initials, and sums. Millions laundered through Cedar Brook's now-defunct lumber mill. Ruth traced a name, Victor Rojas. Cartel, she muttered. They've been here all along. Another text. Last chance. Docks. Midnight. Alex stuffed the ledger into their jacket. We trade this for Jesse. No, Ruth said. We burn it. Let the past die. And let Jesse die too? Alex's voice cracked. They're family. The word hung in the air. Ruth sighed. Then we play dirty. The docks reeked of fish and diesel. Two men waited. Jesse slumped between them. Alex stepped forward, ledger raised. Let them go, a gun clicked. Smart kid. But Ruth wasn't there to negotiate. A Molotov cocktail shattered at the men's feet, flames licking the wooden pier. Chaos erupted. Alex tackled Jesse free as the men scrambled. In the truck, Jesse gasped. You're insane. Ruth floored the accelerator. You're welcome. But the ledger was gone, dropped in the fray. Marjorie's cousin's hunting cabin was a shack with a wood stove and a decade's worth of dust. Jesse tended to their wounds while Alex paced. Without the ledger, they'll keep coming. Jesse held up a crumpled page. Tore this out when they grabbed me. It listed coordinates and a single name, Eleanor. Gran's grave? Alex frowned. Or where she buried the truth, Jesse said. Marjorie burst in, face ashen. They found Ruth. The phone rang. A distorted voice hissed, Bring the rest. Or the old lady burns. The truck careened down the gravel road, Victor's SUV close behind. Bullets pinged off the tailgate. Ruth, bleeding from a grazed shoulder, leaned out the window and returned fire with her shotgun. Left, she barked. Alex swerved onto a logging trail, the overgrowth scraping the truck's sides. The SUV followed, but its bulk slowed it. Victor's mistake. Ahead, the trail ended at a cliff, overlooking Cedar Brook's valley. Alex slammed the brakes. Out, now. They dragged Jesse into the trees as Victor's SUV skidded to a halt. Victor emerged, flanked by his men. Ruth stepped into the open crowbar in hand. You want the drive? Come get it. Alex whispered, Ruth, no. Go, she growled. Finish this. As Alex and Jesse fled, gunfire erupted. Ruth's laughter echoed, then silenced. Victor's shout of rage followed. She'd taken one of his men with her. In town, Alex burst into the Cedar Brook Gazette office, USB drive in hand. The editor, a skeptical retiree named Walt, paled as he viewed the footage. "This'll burn the whole county down." "Do it," Jesse said. By midnight, the story dominated regional news. Decades of corruption, cartel ties, and mayor's cover-up exposed. Sheriff Hayes, cornered by reporters, announced Victor's arrest and Marjorie's confession, delivered in a tearful 911 call before she vanished. At Grand's grave, Alex placed the sunflower-stamped journal beside the headstone. Jessie knelt, tracing Lena's name. She'd hate this town, but maybe she'd like knowing we're free. Marjorie found them there, face bruised, clutching a suitcase. "I'm turning myself in. Tell Ruth." "I'm sorry." Alex nodded. No forgiveness, just silence. The highway stretched ahead, golden in the dawn. Jesse leaned against their rebuilt van, packed with Alex's few belongings. "Where to?" Alex glanced back at Cedar Brook, the diner, the scarred mill, the birch grove where truth bloomed from rot. "Anywhere but here." Jesse tossed them the keys. "You drive." 1 year later, the postcard arrived at Ruth's cabin, now Jesse's. A sunflower field in Kansas, a new address scribbled on the back. Inside the van, Alex pinned it to the wall, next to Lena's Polaroid and Grand's recipe for lavender shortbread. They'd left Cedar Brook in the rear view, but its ghost rode with them, lighter now, softened by Miles and Mercy. Jesse slept in the passenger seat, their sunflower tattoo peeking from under a sleeve. Alex turned the key, the engine humming like a promise. Life wasn't the straight line they'd once mapped in business school. It was detours and dirt roads, sunflowers in cracked pavement. It was Jesse's hand in theirs at a rest stop, a future written in pencil, not stone. The van pulled onto the highway, chasing the horizon. Somewhere ahead, a town waited, or maybe just open sky. Either way, it was theirs. In Cedar Brook, the old mill collapsed in a storm. Kids dare each other to enter, whispering about cartels and ghosts. At the diner, Walt sips coffee, still proud of his Pulitzer. And in the attic of a blue Victorian, a green journal gathers dust, its final page blank, a story ended, a story begun.